Hey guys, it's me, Akashic Love. So lately I've been doing reaction videos because it's pretty funny. Like I just do that at night. I'd be bored, whatever. Hope you guys enjoy them. Um, so I wanted to talk about a situation that happened within the global stage. There was something that happened, and yes, like we always see police beatings and shootings, and it's just kind of the regular or the norm, right? But this one situation, I just felt like I couldn't watch the video. I couldn't. I still haven't watched the video of that of the 5 police officers beating up on that one guy. And a lot comes with that, right? Because they're trying to say like, oh, this is what happens when you have single mothers running things, and just a lot of outlandish, insane stuff instead of what it is, which is these 5 black men that are cops decided to beat up on another black man. Whether he was running, see, I didn't even get into it like that, because when I saw like maybe 10 seconds of the video, and in those 10 seconds, like, I was like, I can't, and I cut it off. It was that, like, one day I might be able to watch the whole video, but as of right now, I haven't. It was that brutal. And I don't know, like, that is a symptom of something, right? You know what I mean? Like, why is that behavior acceptable by any cop of any race? Why was that brutality expected from those cops? And why did the paramedics just not care? Like, it's so much that, like, I can't say that humans think of other humans as humans. Like, I just, it's beyond me. Like, the whole protect master's land, ideals, fight for the colonizer. It's painful to see, you know what I mean? To harm your own so easily, so recklessly, is just beyond me. Like, I'm like at a loss for words, because it's like, just so, like, a man lost his life, but people always lose their life in this country due to stuff like that, right? But sometimes it's just not as graphic, and I think the more graphic it is, the more people care. Just like the George Floyd situation. Like, you saw a man be choked out. You saw a man lose his life in real time. When I saw that video, I cringed. I could not believe it. How could you just sit there and you hear the man gasping for air. Like earlier today, I saw a video, right, of cops talking to this paraplegic man. He was in a wheelchair. He didn't have any legs. For whatever reason, this man got out of his wheelchair and started running down the street on his two nubs. Now, the thing about that is if I was a cop and I saw someone do that, the last thing on my mind would be, oh, I need a gun. He ain't but 3 feet tall. He's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere. You can walk faster than him. Walk behind him for 10 minutes. I swear he'll pass out. Like, he didn't have legs and y'all shot him. What is that? Like, that's worse than hunting an injured animal. You get what I'm saying? He's a human being. You didn't have to shoot him. You could have just booty bumped him and he would have fell over. What are y'all afraid of? Like, how? Like, I just don't. Why are y'all cops if y'all are so afraid? Why are y'all cops if the slightest thing makes you mad? See, when you go for a job, you look and see, oh, what do they demand of me? And you ask, and a job will tell you, well, are you great with people? Do you have do you have good communication skills? Do you cooperate? Do you follow instructions? Do you have a short attention span? Do you have a fucking temper? You know what I mean? And a lot of y'all just, I guess, said yes to everything and ended up being a cop. When y'all don't got no patience, y'all don't even got patience with a pen. You don't got patience with a pen. You ever see them scribble and it don't work and then they like, y'all don't even got patience for a pen. Why are y'all working with people? Y'all working with lots of elements. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's tough. But only the toughest can do it. And not everybody the toughest, so stop trying. Stop putting on this parade like all of us are these good guys and we do this and we do that, when the truth is Gotham City is alive and well. Like, corruption is corruption. Like, it's just, y'all feel excused to be able to treat somebody like barbaric, like however you want. And it's just like, you can't blame black women for situations that was out of black women's control. Like, people act like cops don't kill if it's a man in power, right? Cops don't kill if it's a man in power. If it's a black woman in power, oh my God, it's a shitstorm. Let's run. Let's get out the country. Like, are y'all serious? Like, how does that even make sense? I gotta pour me a drink on that. I couldn't watch that video, though. And don't laugh at me, because I only got my little water bottle I don't got a cup with me. But I don't know. When I was a little kid, I was like, I want to be a cop. I want to be a cop. It would be so awesome. You want to know who killed that dream for me? Cops. I was living in Long Beach, California at the time, and I was playing in my front yard. And I was just drawing things. Like, I was drawing all the symbols that I learned at school, because that's just what I do. Like, I'm still an artist till now. I still paint things. And it was a dispute. Like, I think the couple next door was arguing, so there was cops, and they were, like, leaning on my gate, and I could see them, and I'm standing there, and I'm just drawing. And I was about 7 or 8 years old. But they were like, oh, so what, you're a gangster? And I just was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, we're looking for someone wearing blue pants and a red shirt. And I had on blue shorts and a red shirt. And I started bawling. I started crying. I didn't know what I did wrong. I was scared. I was like, Mommy, they're coming for me. Just pure, like, it's that I'm over you, I'm a bully, so I think it's funny to make you cry. And I don't care how you feel when you cry. Like, they wouldn't watch one of their own children cry, right? They wouldn't want that. They want their own children to be happy and to live these magical lives. And I didn't understand it for a long time. It didn't like really connect with me until I was about 19. And when I was 19, one night, at the time I was working in Delaware. So I was working in Delaware, and I lived in Philadelphia. So I was used to taking the Amtrak home from Philadelphia to from Delaware to Philadelphia. So I'm used to the price. The price will be anywhere from like $35 to $110, right? Okay. So when I got on the train, the dude was like, oh, it's $350. And I looked at him and I was just like, no, it's not. I'm sorry, sir. Like, even Amtrak has a cap. They're not just going to go out of their way and charge $350 to get from Delaware to Philadelphia. Like, that's just not, you're not going to find that ticket rate. I would have paid the $100. I would have paid $150, right? I had it. It wasn't something that I was thinking twice about. And the reason I didn't have the ticket was because the station was closed. At a certain time, the Wilmington station in Delaware closes, but you can still get the Amtrak train back to Philadelphia. So if that happens, what you do is you buy the ticket on Amtrak, and this was before you could do it online. So that wasn't even a thing. So you could pay for the ticket on Amtrak. So every weekend, that's what I would do. I would pay for the ticket on Amtrak. But there was just this one guy that was just so disgusting to me. And like, he yelled at me and he was like, oh, it's, like I said, $350. And I was like, no, it's not. We got to the Philadelphia station. He had the cops there. And I'm like, okay, so just take me to wherever I need to pay so I can pay and you people can leave me alone. One of the cops yelled at me and was like, why are you talking like that? And I said, like, sir, talking like what? How am I talking? They were just yelling at me. They were calling me out of my name. And then, like, they're like, you're going to pay for this. And I was like, that's fine. I'm not trying not to. So then, guess what? We go to the window and I ask her, how much was the train ticket? Right? The cops made a big scene. The people are looking like, oh my God, what's going on? The teller, the lady at the window, guess how much she said the ticket was? She said the ticket was $35. That's how much the ticket was. And then they were like, oh, but she wanted to pay on the train. She was like, yeah. The ticket was $35. Like, it was just so ridiculous. They treated me so horribly. Like, I like ran for my life after I gave them their money, and now they're standing at the ticket window trying to figure out, what do you mean? Because this guy said it was $3.50, and I'm like, well, y'all need to investigate him because clearly he's pocketing the money on the Amtrak train if the ticket isn't that much, right? Food for thought, maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he just wanted to I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to charge $3.50 because it was fun, you know? I don't know. But the cops, they let me go. They didn't apologize. I was about 19 at the time, so I was too young and scared to try to follow up or whatever. My goal was just, going to work that night and getting home safely. That was my goal. That was my whole intent. So by them saying, why do you talk like that? You have to ask yourself, why are they asking that? What makes them ask that? What are they so used to or so programmed to see that they have to ask a regular Black American woman, why do you talk the way that you talk? They said I was being smart for speaking English the way that you're supposed to. Disrespectful. Cops take it way too far. Don't get me wrong, there's good cops. But guess what? Those good cops get beat up by the fucked up cops. That's how that works. So it's like, who's going to save us and the good cops? Who? The good cops can't save themselves. And we're at the mercy of whatever these individuals feel like doing. And it only seems to get more tragic. Like, we should be more cautious of injuring each other. Yes, people are crazy. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that there are situations where you might need to do something, right? But in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to patrolling regular neighborhoods, Y'all do a lot. Like, okay, so this one time I lived in this other area, right? And it was still in Philadelphia. And I walk outside of my house and it's like a nice day. So I'm just like happy to be outside. So I see this little boy run around the corner. And I'm like, oh, he's probably playing tag with his friends. So I walk down my porch. When I get down my porch, I see a cop turn the corner and he's out the window with a gun. With a gun. If he had tried to shoot at that kid, he would have shot me because I was right behind the kid. Because I thought more kids were probably going to run around a corner. So I was trying to make it across the street before they came. But here comes Super Cop. Trying to, I don't know. Like thankfully he didn't shoot. But my thing is why are you hanging out the window pointing a gun? Like, you can't pull over and chase him. Like, you can't. Like, you just can't pull over and chase him, right? In my mind, it's like, what could this individual possibly have done? What, like, and to see people trying to get away, like, it's one thing if, like, you're challenging the cops and you're trying to do this, but these cases is literally people just running away from. That's not wrong. Like, if someone is going to put you in timeout, what do? You run. Like, kids will figure out every reason not to go into timeout because it's an instinctual thing not to do something that you are, like, when you're restricted, you don't want to be restricted. You're human, right? And it just, like, makes it like, just hurts because when you want to see your community whole, when you want to see things function in a positive way, there's those around you that don't believe it's possible. There's those around you that will always, long story short, Stockholm Syndrome, right? You love your capturers. You can't imagine anything past your capturers. We are lucky that everything happened, so we're going to conform to our capturers. And that, to me, like, I can't imagine knowing my ancestors that came to this country wanted to leave and run for their lives. And then I sit here and be like, you know what? Let me help you. Let me help you make it better. Yay. No. They wanted to go home. So in life, you're supposed to fulfill someone's last dying wish. Their last dying wish was to go home. Their last dying wish wasn't to be buried here and have cemeteries here. Not my ancestors, maybe yours, right? They didn't come here because, like, oh, it's the gold rush. Let's come here. It's awesome. That's not how it happened. Mm-mm. So basically, I cannot say when, if, or how. This mentality is going to, I don't know when it's going to stop. It's white supremacy, like indoctrination. So in order to be accepted, in order to fit in, you got to do what the good old boys do. And you better not talk. So that's kind of the situation here in terms of that. They thought they could get away with it because usually they do. They were called Operation Scorpion. And I don't think any operation or unit that isn't military should be called that. And I'm even hesitant with the military because what I've learned about what happens with the military, like I've learned, like they really, if they have orders to shoot to kill whoever's in the area, that's what's happening, right? And that's harsh. Because if it's only children in the area, guess who's getting hurt? Disrespectful. Like they don't have discernment in the military. They don't. You just follow orders. So that's like they wanted to fit in, right? So who knows what's about to happen. This is the quickest officers have gotten fired and tried. Should tell you something. It's just painful. And I wish people would feel whole. I wish people would be strong enough for their own community, right? To build up your own community. Like, we have to build ourselves up before we can help anyone else in the country, right? And all we do is help other people in the country. We help people build up everything. We help people like the cops, like they patrol and whatever. But if we were allowed to have our own land that's like not bombed on, like several of our cities were bombed on, we would be able to patrol that. But if we're constantly trying to work for someone else's government, how are we going to build our own? Like, where is it going to come from? Is it going to magically appear? Like, the only way this is going to stop is if we patrol ourselves and figure out how to make that a thing. Like, they want it to be segregated, right? And they had a problem with integrating. So the Black Americans that were happy to segregate, they were bombed. What is that? What kind of BS is that? Like, I agree with you, but you're still gonna bomb me. You're still literally gonna send the U.S. military after my people and my farms. Mm. So it's much deeper than just some guys went crazy on another guy. Because stuff like that doesn't even have to happen. Poverty breeds crime. It does. Poverty breeds crime. So any culture that's subjected to poverty is also subjected to a lot of crime. It's not just, oh, you guys are crazy or this or that. Humans are humans. Like, there was a study where if you like had they had a bunch of rats, and they in an environment of rats that didn't have enough food and water, the rats were like addicted to cocaine a lot easier. But the rats who lived in a beautiful whatever and had all the food and the water that they wanted, they never got addicted to cocaine. It's your habitat. It's your environment. Dave Chappelle was talking about your environment, not just his environment, but your environment. It's crazy, but as long as we can't imagine having our own, it's never going to be a possibility. I'm sorry to say. Like, Black people can't, I'm not going to say they can't. I'm going to say that most don't imagine, like, our own judges, our own court system, our own legal system, our own government. Like, we don't have to be up under someone else's government. We don't have to keep their government in power. Black people were never allowed into the military until they realized, oh, well, we could benefit in the wars from them. And they wanted to not pay them. So there was like, I can't remember what war, but it was a regiment, black men, black soldiers. They wanted to be paid the same amount of money that their white counterparts were being paid. Basically, they were ambushed and murdered, so they didn't get paid. So they didn't have to pay them. Shit like that, right? It's okay to step back and say, like, maybe, as much as I love my country, maybe my country doesn't love me back. And that's a hard one. Especially when you're, like, supposed to love your country. But guess what? My people, we don't have a country. We don't have a government. And that's fine. But we're allowed to make our own. And that's all I'm saying. So, cops don't. It's so sad. Like, those cops just wanted to fit in. They literally tortured and murdered someone because they want to fit in with whatever sick show is going on in that district. And I can promise you, it's not because of some single woman running it. Because that man that they murdered had a mother and father. He did. So he didn't come from a single family home. That's just an excuse. That's so evil, right? Like, oh, well, it's black women's fault because they're single mothers. Are y'all mad that we're single and happy and flourishing? Is that the case? I don't know. Like, single, happy, and flourishing makes you mad. We have nothing to do with the outlandish mess people choose to participate in. The only thing we can do is handle it to the best of our ability. It's the only thing, right? It's just, I really hope that these videos coming out, like, show people how not to be. Show people, like, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be a good person. It's okay, like, to do the right thing. Like, you don't have to be embarrassed. Like, learning is wonderful. Having empathy is even more wonderful. Not everybody that is dressed down is poor. Not everybody that looks regular is just a regular person. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have to appreciate each other more. I always tell people, like, so most people, so this is my BPD kicking in, right? So I don't really care about saying hi, right? It's a waste of energy for me. And people, they love hi, good morning. And I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, yeah. But the thing is for me, I don't like to say hi or good morning or any of that small talk. I appreciate your existence whether I say something or not. You feel like acknowledgement acknowledges that. You don't have to say anything to me and I'd be perfectly fine. I've had people try to give me the silent treatment and all I did was enjoy it. I loved it. I was like, oh, the silence is beautiful. This doesn't bother me at all. Wonderful. Like, finally we can get along, right? That's just the kind of person I am. So, it's just who you are and how you handle things. Bottom line. I hope that you guys see the blasphemy in reality. And I hope that you grow from it and become better people. You know, life is good. Life is good. And in the grand scheme of things, when shit's not on fire, when we stand up to what is wrong, right? Because that's the problem. Like, in the 90s, we saw so much wrong. But no one stood up to it. And now it boiled into what it is now. And now we're like 20 years later, 40 years later. Always do what's right. Love. let anger be your last emotion. Let anger be something that keeps you alive to fight for the next day. Don't let anger be something that only comes out when you're just scared or when you're just nervous. Those aren't the right. You have to be clear-headed. Clear-headed gets the surgery done in a doctor's office, right? That's how the surgery gets done. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye. Well, wonderful night, because it's nighttime now.